You guys are the authors of the bill, or the sponsors. Can you speak a little bit about the bill?
The Destination Resort Bill is an effort for the first time in the state of Florida to create a strategic direction on gaming. The goal is to create a high regulatory environment where we will have a gaming commission. The gaming commission will have broad authority to control and to harness gaming in the state of Florida. The bill also includes the opportunity for up to 3 destination resorts, hopefully confined to Miami-Dade and Broward County, but obviously that's up for grabs. And what that will do is provide direct competition to the Seminole Indians, where we as a legislature created a monopoly when we signed the compact, which we probably need to undo that wrong. What the goal of the bill ultimately will be is to reduce gaming in the state by reducing the number of locations for internet cafes, which have proliferated over the last year and a half. We've probably had anywhere from 800 to 1,000 internet cafes open. The lottery continues to expand without any input from the legislature. That also needs to be harnessed. So it is a multifaceted opportunity for us to finally look at gaming in a holistic manner, to address it in the manner that we have economic development, education, healthcare. We always create a strategic direction. We say this is the way we're going to go, and this is what we need to do to get there. But we've never done that in gaming. So it has continued to expand through clever lawyering, through loopholes in the law, and we've seen a proliferation in the last, actually 2 months, with a lot of loopholes.
But when you say Las Vegas style casinos, it ceases to distinguish the types of casinos that exist even within Las Vegas. There is your kind of low-end, off-the-strip, Golden Nugget casino, and then you have your Wynn and your Venetian and your Palazzo. You can't compare the two. There is one that happens to attract that kind of low-end market, the kind, quite frankly, you look statistically more likely drawn to by kind of lower income or more highly addictive people than those that are drawn to the higher end resorts. So what we're saying is the kinds of casinos that we have already in South Florida, the ones that we've allowed either through looking the other way or through clever lawyering or through the compact, the kind of casinos that we've allowed to proliferate are the very kinds of casinos that more likely are drawn to by that type of market. It's your local gambler, the person that wants to go every single day and just drop money in a slot box. The types of casinos and the types of markets that are gotten in a destination resort is a completely different market. It's part of the reason why we put the minimum investment at $2 billion, because when you create a resort, a complex of that stature, of a $2 billion stature, you cannot market yourself to a local economy because it doesn't sustain it. You are forced to market yourself to a non-Florida based, either outside of Florida, domestic or international market in order to be able to turn a return on that investment. So what you essentially end up with is a very high-end resort with a casino component, no different than the casino components that are already existing now, but at a higher end, attracting a completely different market. So to whatever extent we can, at the end of this bill, not only significantly reduce the number of locations for the predatory type gaming, your strip malls, slot machines, that sort of thing, your great market machines, and the kind of pop-up gaming that we have going on right now, and redirect it towards 2 or 3 high-end destination resorts that will create the kind of caliber of economic development and attract new business to the state of Florida, I'll be all for that.
Well, can you address all the detractors out there that feel that, hey, gambling is going to bring a different, a dark element to the region? The prostitution, like we see in Vegas, the drinking, the alcohol, the gamblers, the addiction to gambling. How can you address that?
Go ahead.
I think what everybody needs to recognize is that we are the 4th largest gaming state in the nation. So there's plenty of opportunities for those who would like to become addicted to gaming today. And actually what we have and what we've sponsored is probably the most predatory and the most addictive form, which are slots and the lottery. What the destination resorts does is shift that focus from the predatory gaming and the addictive type gaming to international tourism. So the people who are coming, who are international tourists, it's catering to a completely different market, not the people who exist and who are already here who potentially have an addiction. And I kind of liken it to the folks that say that one more facility, and although we're going to reduce the total number of facilities, one more facility that happens to have a 5-star hotel and a gaming component isn't going to necessarily increase the addiction level, simply because that would be the same analogy to say that if we open up one more restaurant, one more bar, or one more liquor store, we're going to have more alcoholics. It's kind of a, I would say, disingenuous argument. The debate has gotten a tremendous amount of confusion in it. Because when they see that you're talking about destination resorts, there's an automatic assumption that it's an expansion. But until they define expansion and understand that to get rid of the predatory gaming, which is the addictive form, and to replace it with the high-end gaming, which brings in international tourists and conventions, we're actually going to hopefully either stop it or kind of at least stabilize the issue that people are concerned. And it's a legitimate issue, and they should be concerned. But an addictive personality is an addictive personality, and 3 more locations in Dane County and getting rid of 800 is not going to change the landscape.
When you set a bar of $2 billion, you have to create a tax structure that will actually lure people in to spend $2 billion. We could have very easily put the bill out and said $2 billion at 30%, and we would have felt very good about passing a bill. You won't have one person coming in trying to build $2 billion at 30%. So we had to kind of balance that out. And the second point, which is also important for people to recognize, is that there had to be an allowable cushion above 10% so that the local governments and the local regional economies could also, through extractions, traffic mitigations, impact fees, that sort of thing, be able to deal with this scope of a development, and perhaps even some revenue sharing at the local level, so that even if the effective tax rate becomes 15 or 20%, you start at 10 that goes to Tallahassee, to the state revenue, but you still allow for a little bit of a cushion in case the local governments or the local school districts or what have you need to either have a combination of revenue sharing, traffic mitigation, impact fees, etc., that will essentially take that tax rate above 10%, but certainly not 30, 40%. Right. That would preclude anybody from spending $2 billion as an investment in South Florida.
Just people see it as maybe unfair for Florida-based pari-mutuals that have been here for decades to be paying a higher tax to some other, like I said, conglomerate or organization coming in and building up a new casino. A lot of people see that as being unfair.
Right.
It might not even be constitutional. So we know at the end of the day, at the very least, they're going to have probably a 10% tax rate, parity on taxation on the slot machines. So it's a discussion that's evolving as we move the bills through the process.
So there's still room for, there's a lot of room for error. There's still, okay, I just want to make sure that there's
tremendous room for negotiation.
Negotiation.
We have to create
this bill is a starting point.
It's a starting point. We have to create the framework to have the discussion, to let people know what we're doing, to try to control the message so it's not, misdirected by all of the different special interests that are looking at this bill and figuring out how it's going to impact them.